Explain to people what a warrior for justice really is, Bill.
A warrior for justice is a person who really gets in, understands a person's story, understands the impacts of what's gone on in their lives and the damage that they've suffered and will continue to suffer now and in the future. So a warrior for justice is someone, despite the fear, despite the odds, is willing to walk through the fires and the flame and take on the arrows and the daggers of the enemy in order to get justice for their client.
Welcome to the 805 Law Group Podcast, your source for an entertaining blend of law and legal community updates. Each week, you'll get crucial insights into family law, personal injury, criminal defense, and estate planning, along with the latest insider information about what's happening in the local legal community and high-profile cases right here on the Central Coast. Now let's get started with your host, the founder of 805 Law Group, attorney Bill Ausman. Welcome to the 805 Law Group Podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Dean Mignola.
And I'm Bill Ausman, the founder of 805 Law Group.
Yeah, today we're going to talk about why you lose when your attorney is afraid to go to trial and what you really want is a warrior for justice. Explain to people what a warrior for justice really is, Bill.
A warrior for justice is a person who really gets in, understands a person's story, understands the impacts of what's gone on in their lives and the damage that they've suffered and will continue to suffer now and in the future. So a warrior for justice is someone, despite the fear, despite the odds, is willing to walk through the fires and the flame and take on the arrows and the daggers of the enemy in order to get justice for their client.
Well, I guess you kind of alluded to my next question, but one thing that I was kind of surprised to learn is that a lot of attorneys are actually kind of afraid to go to trial. How many attorneys would you say, what percentage are afraid, and why do you think that is? You kind of alluded to it earlier.
Well, I think the vast majority of attorneys are afraid of jury trials. I think that is a fearful process. It's really difficult to stand in the gap and face this onslaught of powerful attacks on yourself, on your client, on the system, on your pleadings at so many levels. You have fierce opponents that are trying to poke holes and naysay. And it takes a special someone, it takes a warrior that's willing to go through it, to experience the fear, to experience what has to be done, and keep championing a client's cause no matter the cost. And each step of the way, just bringing that forward. And quite often, it's at great personal expense that a warrior will go to battle and is risking a great deal to get it done.
Well, and I know that you're a great trial attorney. What kind of advantage, when you have so many attorneys that are afraid to go to trial, what kind of advantage does that give you and attorneys like you that are ready to go to battle?
It gives us a huge advantage. There are a lot of attorneys that just set up for settlement. They get in a mass amount of cases, spend a mass amount for marketing, and just get in there and write letters to the adjuster and just settle cases out for a very insignificant or lesser value than a case is really worth. It's really important that if you're injured, your brother or sister or uncle or mother, somebody that you really care about in your life, gets hooked up with a trial attorney that's willing to go all the way. That's the only way you're going to get true value in your case. Settlement mills are just there as a numbers game. It's really important to find someone that will discover your story, to understand what that is, and then be able to fight the insurance companies, fight the battle for you to get you excellent results, something that will improve your quality of life for the rest of your life.
Are you enjoying the 805 Law Group podcast so far? Make sure you never miss an episode by hitting that subscribe button now. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. For more information about 805 Law Group, visit our website, 805lawgroup.com. Now, let's get back to the show. So, when someone's looking for a personal injury attorney, how can they tell? Are there questions that they can ask? Or are there things that they can look for to say, okay, this is someone who will go to battle for me, as opposed to someone who's going to try to get what they can get?
Right. I think there's a lot of different questions, and you have to dig deep to find out how they're going to find out about your story. Do they discover the story? Do they take the time to listen to their client? Do they take the time to understand what your treatment providers are saying? Do they understand and are they going to listen to the most important people in your lives? Are they going to listen to those people that are really impacted by your injuries? It really takes a special someone to really understand that and to provide that information in a usable and convincing manner to the other side, and that will take that and champion that all the way to jury trial verdict.
Okay. Now, are there any specific questions that, let's say I had a personal injury case, I'm someone who was injured, what are the questions I should ask attorneys? Let's say I'm interviewing an attorney to decide which one I'm going to go. What kind of questions should I be asking that attorney to make sure I'm getting someone who's willing to fight for me?
Right. Well, what are you doing to sharpen your jury trial skills? What professional training are you taking? What cases have you taken to jury trial? What kind of verdicts have you gotten? What are you doing? How are you building your tribe? How are you perfecting your storytelling skills? All these things are incredibly important in getting the phenomenal results that clients really need when they've been injured, when they've been the victim of the system.
Okay. And when someone is in trial, let's say it goes that far, it's a personal injury case, it has gone to trial, what does that look like, when you have an attorney that is really going to battle for you?
What that looks like is somebody who is well prepared, that's put together the team members that are necessary, that tribe that's going to win the battle in the courtroom. And that's why we work with other phenomenal trial attorneys throughout the state and throughout the country, because we built that tribe and we bring those people in that are going to make the difference. And that difference is caring about the client, caring about the results, caring about the process, and ultimately bringing all the elements together so that ultimately you can prevail, you can get the kind of recovery that makes your life whole.
All right. Excellent. Well, I think we've covered everything on this particular topic. So that'll do it for this episode of the 805 Law Group podcast. And we thank you all for watching. Any final words, Bill?
Well, if you have some questions or you have some comments, feel free to give us a call. We're here to answer your questions. We're right here on the Central Coast. We're here to make a difference for you and your life if you're in a difficult situation.
Excellent. We do thank you for watching. Make sure to click that like button, subscribe, and follow, depending on what platform you're on. Ring that bell. That gets you notified when we have new podcasts coming out. And thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next podcast. Thanks for tuning into this week's episode of the 805 Law Group podcast. Don't forget to visit our website, 805lawgroup.com/podcast, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Spotify, or Amazon Music, so you never miss an episode. If you found value in the show, we'd love it if you could rate it on iTunes or even tell your friends. Make sure to join attorney Bill Ausman next week for another informative and entertaining episode. Remember, at 805 Law Group, we're turning law into empowerment, one episode at a time.